I'm John. I represent Glif. In case you haven't heard of Glif, I'll just give you the quick background. We're not new to the Filecoin ecosystem. We've been building critical apps and infrastructure for Filecoin since pre-mainnet. We built the first Filecoin wallet. We built the Filecoin multi-sig used for their SAP distribution and still by the Filecoin Foundation and Protocol Labs employees today. We built one of the first notaries, and we built public-private Lotus nodes, which run a lot of the traffic for builders today. So fast forward through time, we got a multi-year grant in September of 2021 to continue focusing on the network's most important problems. And that was when we began researching DeFi on Filecoin and how we could use the FVM to solve a lot of the network's capital inefficiencies. Fast forward again to March when the FEVM launched, and we put out the network's wrapped Filecoin token, which is used pretty widely in DeFi on Filecoin. And then actually in May, we launched the Glif Pools protocol and the Infinity Pool, which I'll tell you more about today. So yeah, Glif has been around for a while, and we're going to be here to stay. So being a storage provider is hard, and we're here to try and help. We could talk about a lot of the different problems, but today I'm going to focus mostly on the capital inefficiencies that are plaguing storage providers on the network. And sort of the main problems are that storage providers really have to give up custody of their miners in order to work with a lender. And the result of that is that one storage provider is locked in to the capital provider that they choose, right? So if I go and work with one lender with my miner and that lender runs out of Filecoin, I'm kind of stuck. I need to spin up another miner, or I need to do some other unsustainable practice in order to borrow more Filecoin from someone else. And lastly, the solutions are not very flexible, and they're generally more friendly to lenders than they are to storage providers, especially small storage providers who are up and coming, who don't have much experience or reputation. And also certain storage providers in different jurisdictions are ruled out. There's just not a great solution for the network. So we spent a lot of time working on a protocol for deploying many tens to hundreds of unique capital markets on Filecoin. Now, today there's only one, and that's the Infinity Pool. That's the first capital market that's built on this DeFi protocol. But we're preparing for 10, 20, 30 years in the future where there's a robust financial ecosystem built on Filecoin, and there's a lot of different markets that cater to the different needs of lenders and storage providers. So the cool thing about this protocol is that one storage provider can actually borrow from all of these capital markets at the same time without giving up custody of their miners. And we felt like this was the right way to solve the network's capital inefficiencies with DeFi and smart contracts. And last but not least, I already mentioned this, but we felt in order to have a safe financial ecosystem built on Filecoin, storage providers needed to keep custody of their miners. So this is a pretty high-level overview of how things work. The most important part of the system for a storage provider is this smart contract called the agent. Now, the agent is right in the middle there, and every storage provider has their own agent. And the agent allows the storage provider to pledge one or more miner actors into it to increase their aggregate borrowing power. And then that agent is actually the smart contract that can borrow from all the pools. Now, just a reminder, there's only one pool so far. Big things start small. But the next pool we're hoping to launch in the fall, and it'll be really friendly for Phil Plus miners who are storing large amounts of data. So that was basically the core protocol that we built called Glif pools, and the Infinity pool is the first capital market or staking pool that's built on this DeFi protocol. And so for the rest of this talk, I'll just talk more specifically about the Infinity pool and how that works at a high level. So one thing to note is the Infinity pool has over 1 million Filecoin to deploy today. Come find us. You can borrow in 10 minutes. It's very easy. We need to do a better job of explaining ourselves and creating good documentation, but we're working on that. And as this amount of Filecoin gets used, this is going to unlock a lot more Filecoin. Our goal is to get to 10 million Filecoin by the end of the year. So one thing that we've learned is that DeFi is confusing, and storage providers already have a lot of things that they need to worry about. So to keep things really simple at the start, we're just having an 18% fixed rate. But one thing to note is that the goal of the Infinity pool is not to overcharge storage providers. Remember, we're building tools for storage providers to grow and remain profitable. So if the network continues to drop with its rewards like it's doing today, that base rate will drop as well. And the beauty of a fixed rate for a storage provider is in a bullish time for the network where, either the Filecoin price goes up or the network starts paying out more rewards, the storage provider has an uncapped upside. So just a high level overview of the rules. A storage provider can borrow fills from the pool and forever. They can pay it back when they want to. The only real rule for the storage provider is that they need to make a payment once a week for the fees that they owe based on the amount that they borrowed. Now, we try to keep the rules simple. The storage provider will show up to the protocol with some Filecoin that's probably already pledged to the network. So the Infinity pool will match whatever you have on your miner. So if you have a miner with, let's say, 1,000 Filecoin on it and it's already pledged to the network, the most you'll be able to borrow from the Infinity pool is 1,000 Filecoin. You also, the Infinity pool will also make sure that you can afford your payments. If you can't afford your payments with your block rewards with 25% of your earnings or your expected earnings, then the Infinity pool won't let you borrow it. Make sure that you can afford your payments. It's very much like how traditional lending would work for a car or a home. And just like all the other great DeFi protocols, our absolute #1 priority is the security of both token holders and storage providers. DeFi is scary and there are risks, and we are spending a lot of time, energy, and resources on security research. We've gotten a 12-week audit from Consensus Diligence, some of the top DeFi auditors in crypto. We also, actually starting this Wednesday, are hosting a private audit competition with 20 top solo auditors throughout crypto to win prizes for finding bugs and vulnerabilities. And after that second audit finishes, the code base will be shared publicly. Though the protocol is live on mainnet, you can borrow now, and we're pretty confident in where it is today. So, Glif, throughout our history, we're mostly from North America and Europe, and it's really important for us now, especially given that so much of the Filecoin network is based in Asian markets, to have a much bigger presence in Asia and help storage providers all over the world. And so we're going to be doing a lot better of a job translating our websites, our documents, our educational materials. So it'll be really, really easy for you to get up and running on your own and just understand how things work. We try to keep things really simple and clean. So that's about it. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to the translator. Thanks for listening. And I, for some reason, got locked out of WeChat. So I don't know why. Thanks for saving me, Jojo. But yeah, so come find me or Peter over there. He's the other Glif co-founder. We're actually going to be here for 2 days after this conference ends So we're happy to find an hour or two to sit down, talk about your unique situation, even get you started. The process of borrowing actually takes 10 minutes. So yeah, thank you.